Hello and welcome to our special edition of Own It Magazine and Publishing. Tonight we are interviewing some of our honorees, women, our top women in influence, authority, authenticity, and legacy. Their impact on their community, their careers, their businesses. We are so excited. This is special to me as we are celebrating Women All Month. And in fact, Own It is going to take it a little further, and we're going to be celebrating women throughout the year. Taking center stage and owning it with me is Chris Reinhardt, one of our honorees. Hey! I'm so excited to be with you again. Welcome. Tiffany Power is in the house, and I'm so excited to have Tiffany with me. And what's really beautiful about this lineup, we have a couple of our honorees that will not be with us this evening, and they're going to take on another interview. We'll be interviewing for the remainder of this month, our honorees. But what's really special about the women in this room is our relationships. We started off many years ago. As we are celebrating our women this month, we're also celebrating this year with Own It Magazine, 5 years. And these two women have pretty much been with me along that journey. And so we're going to start with Chris, because Chris is one of the women that I first met on the beginning, the top of this journey. And, when I thought about our honorees and when we were coming up with who we were selecting, my God, there was just no way we could not have Chris at the top of that list. And so, Chris, by all means, share with our audience. We're going to go into the topics and stuff like that, but give them a little glimpse of our connection and who you are.
Well, our connection started actually on someone else's platform. We both were teaching on leadership. I think it was either servant leadership or something dealing with leadership. And we connected from there, and you reached out to me, and you actually coached me for a season. So, and then we actually did a oh God, what was it, girl? It just went out
was,
my mind. We did a podcast on
right.
business. I think we did it for how long did we?
I think it was
Pandemic.
it was during at the top of the
Pandemic.
and maybe close to a year, maybe a little under that, but we did it for a while. Was it first Mondays or first
Fridays with Marissa? Yes. Thank you for your great memory, because I could not remember I could see the flyer and everything. But yeah, that's how we connected, and we've been connected ever since. We don't talk every day, but connection doesn't mean that we have to talk every day. When you develop a covenant relationship with a woman, it doesn't mean that you talk every day, but there is a deeper connection that can't be broken through distance, time. We can pick up the phone and talk like we talked yesterday, as we did.
Yes.
I actually called you on Facebook thing, whatever that thing is, so I could see you. So yeah, that's how our connection started, and I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on 5 years. 5 is the number of grace. So the grace is on your life for you to pick up and go all the way across the world and still thrive. That's God's grace on your life. So I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you. And I'm so honored because this woman, Restoration Speaks, man. She is a powerhouse, a force to be reckoned with, and just so much respect and so much honor. Chris is, and I always know you as Minister Chris, is a woman of high integrity. You show up with such grace, such class, and elegance. I'm just in awe to be a part of your circle. And so, just like you said, when we talk about, and we're going to go into this authenticity, that's where it is. The authenticity is the real. Not the put your face on and all that kind of stuff, and not when you feel obligated that I have to call this person back, or they're going to get an attitude, or they're going to be up this in this way and they're going to be that way. So we're going to go into that. But guess what, Tiffany? our girl Sabine has entered in. And so we're going to bring her in and we're going to transition over to you, Tiffany. And thank you so much, Chris. Talk to us, Tiffany. How did we connect?
You know what? We actually connected on another person's platform as well. And I just remember hanging on every word that you were speaking about leadership and leadership development and what it means to be a true leader. Because me being a leader in HR for many years, you were saying everything that I wanted to hear. I was just like, amen, amen. Who preach this to? I'm in the background. I'm just going off. I mean, because I was so excited to just hear you. And I remember right after that, either you reached out to me and was like, hey, let's connect, or I reached out to you and we jumped on a Zoom. And sis, we were on a Zoom for hours. And
Yeah.
I don't do that with just anybody. And it was like we had known each other like forever. And it was so amazing. And then, look, I'm about to get emotional, okay? Because you saw something in me that I did not see. And you lit that fire inside me to just jump and do some things that made me very uncomfortable, but it helped me to get to that next level. Like you always say, level up. Yeah, this sis right here was like, okay, all right, sis, like I'm ready. Like, let's do this. And it has just been an amazing journey with you, sis. I can't even thank you enough. I mean, we can go into the magazine because we've got Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine that has been birthed under, the Own It platform. And that was you seeing my passion for health and wellness and saying, wait, sis, like you got to get that out there. Like, hold up, how much weight did you lose? How did you do
Yes.
this? And you need to share your story. And I was thinking, my story's nothing. Like, oh, psh, I just lost over 100 pounds. It don't matter.
Oh,
And you're like, no, 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 that does matter. And it created, I guess I'm gonna say, a little bit of a monster here, because now I just want to share with everybody how to get
Yes.
fit in every area of life. And I just have to thank you so much, sis, for
Uh,
seeing something in me that I didn't see, because you have just really guided me along the way. And look, when we get into Sabine, shoot, y'all got me like way out the box, okay? Because I'm about to move out of the United States to the Dominican Republic.
yeah.
Come on now. Come on.
yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, like, man, I have my dream home. Just everything, just from being connected to one individual that I just felt like I had to be a part of your life. So I'm so just
Uh,
blessed and just so thankful to you.
uh, listen, this is about honoring you guys. This is about honoring you guys. I just want people to know, and I'm so humbled by both you and Chris's words. I'm humble, um, thankful, and not humble like the world would say humble, but humbled. And, you know, like I said many times before, is my prayers are always targeted. And as God blesses me, it's always keep my feet on the ground and keep my head human size, that I never blow up in arrogance or forget from whence I came. Not that it's bondage, but when you start getting, it's easy for you to get across a line and start feeling yourself. And me being, um, that's why I was talking about self-awareness. You got to know yourself so that you maintain integrity, that you maintain humbleness, because tomorrow could all be gone, right? It can all be gone. And so I just say to you guys, I love you. And this is about honoring you. I just see so many times, and also too, with God giving me the gift of designing the magazine, the way that He has gifted me with designing the magazine, it's just like, why would I not want to make my sisters look brilliant, look amazing, look incredible? Why would I not want to do that? And so, I just want to give you some kudos, Tiffany, because out of the birth of Own It magazine came like 16 or 17 where we had that growth phenomenon, right? But out of that 16, you are one of just a small, minute few that made it to today, that is still thriving. And you are the one who's thriving in my own model, where you're still doing monthly. No matter what the challenge came, you stayed the course. When I said to you, no, don't you dare go to a quarterly magazine. It has low impact. And that's my opinion. You got to show up consistent. You got to stay in front of people, and let them remember that their voice can be captured in here too. So I give that back, because everybody does not listen in coaching. Everybody does not do the uncomfortable thing. And we have to do it. We have to do it. I share my story. I didn't come to this country with my bank account all in order. It was anybody else would not have come. Let me just, without being TMI, you wouldn't have came. But I also know the plots of the enemy, that if he can give you enough fear, it'll paralyze you, or it will stabilize you to no further growth. And right. I'm defiant in my faith. And if you see the magazine, you see all of them are warrior women in that magazine. Like, I'm saying, look, I am powerful. Those are the affirmations. And that is what has to be, even in this season where we are right now, in the climate and the environment that we are in. We as women must be the voice that says, oh no, you're not pushing me. We're not like those that shrink back, right, Chris?
Yeah.
We're not. We going into the enemy's camp, and we are possession in this season, and the now season, everything that God has promised to us. And that's another reason that's an energy and a flow and a strategy behind this, is to say, hey, I recognize you ladies, and I want y'all to be seen. I want you to be heard, and I want you to be celebrated. And for us to be an example of that comes without strings. It comes without saying who's the boss in the room. So if you look at one of my articles, it says, I checked my ego at the door, at the altar, because get rid of that, because our ego kills our support of one another. If I get into what have you done for me, and this, that, and the other, there is no grace and no mercy. And God can't use us that way, because now we're thinking small, because we're thinking of ourselves instead of thinking community and thinking advancement on a massive scale. We worried about who offended us. Mm-hmm. But that is so small, because we're bigger than that. And so I'm going to just say this. I'm just in awe of you ladies, because I can't be me, because Chris is no joke. So Chris will make me feel like, Marisa, you got to show up, because Chris ain't accepting that. And then also too, Tiffany, like, Tiffany in the gym, she working out, get your behind to the gym, work it out, and then here is Sabine. Now let me bring Sabine in, because Sabine is that sister that says, what you need, Marisa? And I was like, I need blah, 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 blah. And it's done. And it was done. And so Sabine, I just had Chris and Tiffany just share with our audience how you connected with me, because people probably want to say, well, how does she know? Own It is honoring these women, but where's the connection, and how does she know them, and where does that connection come from? And so would you share how we got connected and then share who you are and what you're doing?
Yes. And sorry for being a little late. I was working. So yes, I am Sabine Vicioso, and I am a real estate agent here in the DR. I have my own company, so I'm German, but live here in paradise for already 21 years. And my client, and then to be a good friend, invited me to the conference 3 years ago. And that's where I met you. And I was looking at you, I was listening, I thought, oh my God, I was always almost like scared because you have so much power and you were talking and you were tough and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be like her. So I thought, oh well, I know, I don't know if this will be a connection, but as soon as people know you or get to know you, they find out that you are such a warm-hearted person. You are just like a sister and mother and all in one. And and we connected. I don't know. It just because you told me, you brought me into a long learning process. You started that because now, I mean, since I know you, I have written 2 chapters of books and I am, I don't know, doing things that I never thought were possible. And it's all because you said, but you are something special. And I was like, what? As you said, Tiffany, where am I special? I'm just, I'm just doing this and that. And you made me realize that, yes, I mean, we are doing something different. And I can only confirm what Tiffany said. You are just the best person in the world, and you're so reliable and a very good sister. And Tiffany, I got to know you also at the same conference, so it's super good to be a part of this great women network. I love it.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I love it too. And Sabine has written an ebook on how to transition, buy property in the Dominican Republic, and also transition because actually what Tiffany was saying, if you could understand it or not, was the fact that we are, I live in Wandolio, the Dominican Republic on the Santo Domingo side. And Sabine has her own, she's a broker. So for those people who are watching in the US, you know what a broker is. She owns her own real estate company as well as construction. And so, so she has written a book. And that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's so important in the sisterhood for us to be focusing on how we can help one another advance, right? I can remember being in a room, and I'll just be brief, and someone said, Marisa, everybody doesn't want to do what you want to do. And I said to them immediately, I said, then you missed the point. I'm not talking about you doing anything that I do. I'm saying to be unleashed, fully liberated, unapologetically who you were meant to be. And don't hold back from that. And we have to be in rooms where we're not threatened. We're past the point of worrying about, who looks like what and who's got on what and what label they're wearing and da 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 da. We got to get past all of that because time is ticking. And the next thing you know, we're going to be gone off the earth. And we would have wasted time worrying about going to this jam, that jam, and when we could have made a legacy. Just think, Own It Magazine and Publishing has published over 300 magazines. That's a legacy. No matter what happens to me today, tomorrow, those magazines are digital. They will be out there forever, beyond me, right? That's leaving a mark on this world that cannot be erased. And my footprint, all the videos, I think we got like 700 or 800 videos, live interviews over this past 5 years. Now just think about what it said. Well, I got to wait for my job to promote me and say that I was. No, I decided I'm going to do this. And I want to encourage other people that you have the skill set. Sabine, if you have 20 plus years of real estate, 20 plus years of construction, that's wisdom, right? Right. And Chris has Restoration Speaks. She has her whole program of Restoration Speaks of getting, though a man falls 7 times, a righteous man knows get back up. Right. And that's exactly it. Just imagine if we felt like, oh no, we can't do that because we're not a publishing house. We can't do that because I don't know how to type or I don't know how to. No, because a whole world, I'm pretty sure, Chris, share with us about how Restoration Speaks and the work that you have done. How many lives has that changed?
I can't put a number on it, but I can't put a number on it, but I know that I know Restoration Speaks was birthed out of my own experience, um, going through the tragedy and trauma of a divorce. And just when I came out of that process, I remember and I'm going ahead of the story, but I want to get to this place with the discipleship program is what I'm working on now. Um, I remember someone asking me, how did I know when I was whole? And I literally was sitting in the bathroom and just these five things dropped in my spirit of the actual process that I had went through, not knowing that I was going through a process. And the process was healing, deliverance, freedom, wholeness, and complete restoration. And I went through those processes not knowing that they were labeled. But when she asked me that, it just flooded my whole everything with, oh my God, I processed through that. And I had already published the book Restoration Speaks, a Bible study devotional, but the discipleship program came out of that one question. And that
Mm,
program is designed really specifically for women, but it will help anybody because it's the word of God.
right.
And it's birthed out of my experience. And I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. But something else that I went through recently because of Restoration Speaks and the tools that I know how to use, I'm able to navigate through this place without getting stuck and without losing my mind and without losing my way because something happened tragic, because tragedy strikes everybody. I don't
Yep.
care who you are, but you have to know how to process and navigate through the trauma and the tragedy and not allow yourself to get stuck at that place.
Right.
So that's what Restoration Speaks is designed to do, is to birth you into your purpose. And if you know your purpose, to help you to navigate through your purpose no matter where you are.
That is amazing. And that's what I'm talking about. Was like, what if she just kept that to herself?
Right.
I don't think so. He said, we're blessed to be a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He said, to whom much is given, much is required. So now you got to pour. He says, the greatest of these, faith, hope, and love remain. But the greatest of these is love. And by being transparent like that, it's letting everybody know I love you enough to be vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and to let you know that it's okay for you to be vulnerable too.
Mhm.
So that you can get healed. Because the reason we run is that vulnerability and that fear of being hurt, exposed, abused. And it's the only way through, right? It's the only way through the process is you gotta get transparent. And you gotta get clear and you gotta get and fulfillment. I'm gonna drop this nugget. Fulfillment only happens when you're in alignment with your life's assignment. You were designed intentionally. God gave you your personality, your name, your face, your body, your hair, he gave you everything so that you can be what he designed you to be. And if you feel lost and you feel off and all this stuff, it's because you're not in proper alignment with your life's assignment. And that's it in a nutshell. It's not it's not complicated. It's just simple. And he says, they who seek me diligently find me. And in that diligence, that's when he says, I will make my mysteries known to you. I will show you he'll say, I'll show you my ways. And then you become in proper alignment. But you gotta be, I say your why must make you high.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a high is like, oh my God, I just want to keep experiencing that over and over and over again. So when you come into your purpose, that's your why. And it is one that will just not let you sit. You
Right.
can't, right, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't if it keeps nugging at you and tugging at you, just respond. That's all. Just respond. And so I'm going to go over to Tiffany, and I want to hear from you, Tiffany, because you got the girl powerhouse. Talk to us about, like, come on, where did that come from? And that has exploded. You got like what, 3 4 volumes of books, and then
Yeah.
you have a whole conference. Now you're trying to be international too.
Look, if I'm going international, the sisterhood is going international, right? Like, I don't look better together. I ain't doing this by myself. So, but like, life can be tough. Life can be just a roller coaster, and when COVID hit and this whole crazy thing, it really knocked me off of what I felt was my purpose and everything, because I was in a very comfortable position that paid me very well. But it was stressing me out. It was making me sick, and at one point I didn't even know it was making me sick until I went to the doctors and said, hey, this is what's going on. And he's like, well, this is what you got going on. I'm like, nah, it is not. I am not that way, and I don't need help like that. And he's like, yes, you do. And I decided to go ahead and listen, and I gave myself that help. And when I did, unfortunately, when you decide to take care of yourself, sometimes when you're in a corporate environment, they don't like that. And you kind of fade off into the sunset. And that's what happened during COVID. I had to kind of fade off into the sunset. But when I faded off into the sunset, there was a whole new sunrise that was coming around that then. And it was just like, wow, like, I went from, again, something I thought I was very good at, I thought it was my purpose, to go to just a smack in the just face of, whoa, this is it. This is it. And when I went through that, I'm like, that was a gut punch, man. Like, I'm really messed up over this.
Yeah.
So I started just calling women that I had met at a few different events, local events, and I'm women that just really touched my heart. And I said, look, sis, we all going through this craziness right now. Can we go through it together? Like, can we just meet maybe once a week to celebrate some wins, personal, professional, talk through some challenges? Because we're all going through something very different right now. And they said yes. And we started meeting. And as I was listening to their stories, I'm just like, these women are such gladiators. They're just warriors, and I want to celebrate them. And that's where I said I wanted to write a book. And I had a dream about being at a book signing, and I couldn't see what faces were there. I could just hear a bunch of women chatter and laughter, and there was just a lot of joy in the room. And when I went to that first woman and said, hey, I know you've gone through some things, and I know you want to share your story, because these stories are not our stories. These are stories that other people need to hear because they're struggling as well. Will you help me? And when she said yes, that just put some fire inside me to go after as many women as I can, to have them share their stories. And now we're 509 women in the group. We've got
Wow.
3 number 1 bestsellers. That's 45 women that I have been able to just lock arms with, to share stories, and to be able to say, look, y'all, we are national and international bestsellers. Our
Right.
stories really matter. I mean, that really impacted them. It impacted the world with their stories. And now we celebrate. I started doing conferences because I just wanted to celebrate these women. And you know what? That crazy job that I had back in the day that was stressing me out, all the event planning and all the different things that they put on my plate that I didn't want, made me the gladiator I am in how to handle what I handle today, in doing all the events and being able to celebrate. So now we look, now you out there, we're moving out there. Now we're doing retreats. We have a international retreat coming up, and to be able to celebrate that with my sisters and say, come on and speak. Why don't you come and become a number one, or international speaker? How many of y'all out there want to become international speakers? I know when Marisa invited me to come out to the Dominican Republic the first time and I became an international speaker, I was feeling myself.
I know that's the truth. I know that's the truth. Oh my God. Oh my
It's
God.
just you have to latch on to people that just give you life, and that's what the sisterhood is all about. Is us just coming together. We still meet 4 years later, celebrating our wins, talking about our challenges. Sometimes, we talking about our husbands, talking about our kids, whatever it is that's stressing us out, and we get a chance to just vent and get it out. So if anybody listening, if you are just feeling lost and feeling like you don't have a support group around you, just a support, just love, just somebody like to even just listen, just, a virtual shoulder to cry on, whatever that is, reach out to me, because we really are here for you. And I know that there's some people out there struggling, and they need a sisterhood. So that's
Yes. Yes, yes. Well, since you brought it up, I'm actually going to show a little clip of being here in the DR for the conferences that we had and are having. And so it's just amazing. You said something that was very important too. Is one, ladies, if any of these women resonate with you, please, we're all online. So you can pretty much Google us and find us. I know that this is Sabine's real estate company, so you could just find her real estate company, connect with her. Before we close out, I'll just have you shout out your social media links and stuff like that. But Tiffany, you said something that was very, very important, that can encourage women, that the reason I can do what I do, the way that I could do it, and the way to the level in which I can, is because I understood learning transferred, right? So I knew that the skills that I learned on my job are the very skills that I could use in building up my business. Presentations, you do those presentations for companies, start doing them for yourself, start doing them for yourself, start doing them for your business. That was very important. And then you also shared about the importance of your tribe, is just finding your tribe, finding those people that speak your language. And we all have different tribes, got the fitness and the women that are coming in from that direction. I know that Chris has the Christian women and their radicalness for God and wanting to honor them with their lives. We have people who want to live internationally. And so connect. That's so important. But like I said, I want to show you the little clip from just some of the past experience of being here in the Dominican Republic.
I have found a place out of time and space, far from city lights, up on greener heights, and I'm flying alone now, up on greener heights.
And praise God, we are sold out for 2025. But if you're interested in coming to 2026, just reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to help you to take center stage internationally and owning it. Especially if you're not really used to being on a stage and you want to segue your way in and you want to be in a comfortable environment so that you can just transform and expand. By all means, reach out to myself. You can reach out to Tiffany, and you can even reach out to Sabine because we're all connected and we're all doing it. And I know, Chris, you're going to be coming out here soon. We're going to get you here to come.
I got my passport.
Yes, come on. And we'll be doing some. I'm really excited too because I'm sharing my playlist, and I'm crazy for Jesus. So we're gonna be having a little Christian rap music and worship, and Tiffany has her tapping. So we're gonna be like totally we're going to have restoration speaks here too, because with all of that relaxation and all of that the worship and just really having a good time and inspiring one another, it's just going to be a wonderful place and a time together again. And so, Sabine, I want you to share with us in regards to what made you said Germany 20 years ago. I know that you went back at some point and then came back again. From the woman's perspective, and having that, and talk about authority, because that takes authority. That's major level decision making. It takes influence because you are a woman who owns your own business. And it also takes, because we talk about legacy, you and I talk about, we don't just talk about our businesses as they are now, but we talk about money, right? We talk about the finances and longevity. That's the legacy part, and what we want to really make sure that we leave for our kids, making sure our house is in order and all of that stuff. Talk about what gave you the tenacity and the audacity to leave Germany and then come here to the Dominican Republic, and how's that journey been for you?
Well, I am a traveler, so I've always loved traveling, and the more I traveled, the less I liked the weather and the environment in Germany. So when I came here the first time, that was 2004, I brought my whole family. I brought my parents, I brought my that time husband, I brought my 3 kids. And that was an easy transition because we were all together and we just said, oh, it's going to work. It's just going to work. And it worked. And actually it was nothing special. We just lived, normal. And then in 2010, my dad passed away. And so at that time, it was a family decision, to go back to Germany. And because of the kids, the school system should be better. So we did. And everybody liked it. Everybody was happy, but me. Because I had to go back, and just like Tiffany, you said, back into this, being an employee and the same, treadmill every day. And it just was too hard for me. And if you are used to live on an island, live this, do your own job, be your own boss, and have this environment and be able to enjoy life and have the beaches and the weather and everything, then you go back to this gray Germany, to these old, people, I always call them squareheads, and just, miserable. Yeah, because people sometimes are miserable. And what you say, Marissa, they look at you like, oh, now she thinks she's something special or whatever. And that's not the case. I mean, it's just what we are doing, right? So then I got to the point also, almost like you, Tiffany, when I said, no, I just can't do that anymore. I was burned out. I said, I had it. So the kids were out of the house. They grew up. And I said, well, you know what? If we don't do it now, something is going to happen. And I just, threw my heart, and then we just did it. And when you dare and you trust in yourself, and then eventually it's going to be good. Because I mean, you always go, just go. Don't look back, just always go, and it's going to be good. And trust in yourself, because you have the strength. And then, meeting women like you guys, like you girls, and, it's finding the people that lift you up and that understand you and that also dare something and that are not holding back. Like most people or women that think, oh, maybe no, I don't know. Well, just do it, and you are all the same, and that makes us strong. And it's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret. It's just, believe in yourself. Do it.
Yeah. And you're so right. And most women, and Chris, you can share your thoughts. Most women they're concerned about what other people think when they make their decisions. They're kind of concerned about how acceptable is this going to be in my circle. And I've watched it for many years, and I've always been a loner. So for me, it's always been like, are you really kidding me? You're not going to do that because of what? Especially when it's something that's not really that bad. You know what I mean? That's not really, you got to enjoy your life. And people are always going to have their opinion. So I'm going to digress. Chris, what are your thoughts about that?
Ooh, I
Because
got
now
you.
we're in that place of authenticity. Are you being authentic to you, or are you trying to make sure you don't ruffle anyone else's feathers?
Right. Well, you can never live your life off of the opinions of others. Um, I've always been this way since I was a little girl. I could care less what you think. I never wake up in the morning saying, well, what is Marissa going to think if I do this? I could care less. I never have lived my life based on what other people think. Matter of fact, if you told me I couldn't do something, I would make sure I did it because you said I couldn't. But one of the things that happens to women, and I'll use the word of God to kind of give you an analogy. King Saul lost his kingship because he was more concerned about what the people thought rather than what God told him to do. So you lose your queenship when you are so concerned about what others are going to think about what you have decided to do about your life. And we do it all the time. We need to make ourselves of no reputation. I don't care what you think about my reputation.
Yeah.
The opinion that we should always be concerned about is our opinions of ourselves. What you think about you shapes every decision you will ever make about you. So if you think more of you, you'll do better for you, as opposed to being overly concerned about what I think about you. What I think about you really doesn't matter. And as you said about, everybody has an opinion. I liken it to this: everybody has an opinion, just like a behind, and behind stink. So why would I be concerned about what you think about me
Right.
and what decision I choose to make for me, even if I make the wrong decision? So we have to get over that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because women are not living. They're not
No.
living, and they're passive aggressively bitter.
Yeah.
Right? So the undercurrent to how they show up. And I can remember this being a young woman, like a young lady growing up, and some of the smart remarks that women would make rather than teach a young
Mm,
woman. You remember that? They would get smart with you and say something smart. And that's not wise, because you have an opportunity to teach and pass on wisdom, but you rather, again, when we talked about it earlier, you want to be small minded and you want to feed yourself, right? So you want to degrade the young lady that's standing in front of you rather than recognize that one day she's going to need that nugget, that instead of you giving it to her, you gave her sarcasm. That's why I don't like sarcasm. I think that I don't like sarcasm because of the heart behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to be? Because I'm like my daddy. I look at people's heart, what you can see on the outside of, or the energy that you can pick up about what someone's intent is. I look at that, and that's going to tell me whether I need to cut that off or invite it in. And we just really, women. I just urge them so importantly to. Um, just to get in alignment
Right.
with your life's assignment. Be in pursuit of what makes you tick
Mm-hmm.
and be the answer to what ticks you off. Like, don't
Mhm.
be a part of the problem complaining about what ticks you off. Find out, because what ticks you off is really what you're supposed to be changing in the world, right? It is. It really is what you're supposed to be changing in the world. Like, I don't like people mistreating people. So
Mm-hmm.
that I'm the answer to that. And I'll tell you, Sabine, tell you all day, don't mess with her. I'm like, what? You can do whatever to me, but don't touch Sabine. Don't touch Tiffany. Don't touch Chris. Because I'm going to come for you. Don't let me get out my chair
Mhm.
because of the love and the protection that I
Yeah.
have. So I
Right.
know that that's not something that's done by accident. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something that is just me being overly protective. It is something, it is a component by which God implanted in me that assists me with my purpose and my calling. And so, because I understand it that way, instead of just lashing it out here and there, I'm watching to see when I'm supposed to show up that way, when it's just me operating in what we call, Chris, right, the flesh, or is it me operating because God, Holy Spirit is signaling to me that you need to get up and you need to protect. And so when women would take the time to understand that at a certain point in life, it's not about you anymore. You have to do your self-care. You have to love yourself. That's not what we're saying. What I know that I'm saying is that legacy piece is tied in with your authenticity. If you fail to show up authentically for yourself, you're going to fail to leave your legacy. You're going to miss out on that, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure, because that's what in that lies your fulfillment. When you get happy, we're happy. You see, we're all happy.
Right.
We spark up the minute you say what, it's something that we spark right on up in our happy zone, because we have decided that our authenticity, our authority, and the importance of our impact and influence is valuable and is priceless, and that we have to guard that through love, grace, and mercy, but also through discipline and discernment. And so I'm going to let you guys have closing thoughts, because I'm going to tell you right now, we could be here forever. We've only scratched the surface, but I just want to say this to you guys. I know Tiffany and Sabine, they're on live with me just about all through the week, but we're going to continue this Women Celebrating Women, because God had put it on my heart. After I sent it out and said the top 20, God was like, nah, sis, there are so many women who are in need of this recognition, who are in need to have this moment of spotlight and this moment of voice, that we're going to continue this throughout the year. We're going to continue these conversations. So, Chris, you'll be back. Well, Tiffany and Sabine, y'all already know you're just going to be back, but we just pulling Chris right on in, because we have to have these candid conversations. And sometimes I'm going to say, all right, Chris, you're going to lead this dialogue. Tiffany, you're going to lead this dialogue. Sabine, you're going to lead. Yeah, Sabine, you're going to lead this dialogue. Because because you do, Sabine. You really have fire in you. And it's you already positioned for it to be unleashed. I'm like, you're sitting on the edge, right? And you're like, yeah, and all we gotta do, Tiff, all we gotta do is go like that. We don't even have to go like that. All we gotta do is go. And she's gonna explode, because she does have a lot. You have a lot to say. And I love the sassiness of it all. I like the Germanness of it all. And I do, because we need that candid conversation that you share, that candidness, because through that candidness is the unleashing of the authenticity, right? That's the provoking of a woman to say, hey, sis, you're not acting like you want to act. So just let your hair down and act like you want to act. We gotta self-regulate, but you gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. And so I'm gonna start with, because I'm telling you, we can keep going. I gotta start with closing out. Chris, share with the audience what you're doing, what they can do. What do you are you looking for folks to collaborate with you? Are you looking for people to join the discipleship? Whatever it is, just share with the audience your closing thoughts and how they can connect to you, because I know, because I remember when we used to meet, um, what you have is very, very powerful. Um, I mean, it really, really is powerful. And so many can benefit from your ministry, and the work that you're doing. And the more people that know of it, the more people who can glean from it and be transparent and come into the authority of who they are and own it, the authenticity, become influencers, and not influencer in the trendy way, influencers where they're influencing people to show up with integrity in a higher standard. And that's what we need back today. Today we've become so casual in our conversations, so casual in the words that we use. The foul language is just flying all over the place. Like you're looking at anchors and they're cursing, and it's just like, what? Where is the space where that's appropriate, and when it's not appropriate? That's what I mean by influencers. So someone who comes and influences to say, hey, we know we grown, but we grown folks don't have grown conversations everywhere. We have to know where to be, what behavior is appropriate for what, without losing our authenticity, but also to understanding self-regulation. So share with them in closing out. Tiffany, I'm not going to say anything else. You just follow suit, and the same with you, Sabine.
Well, I wanted to say something to something that you were saying about women, other women, or more seasoned women, saying off the cuff things, and not helping. And that comes from a place of unresolved trauma, um, brokenness, and choosing not to do the work to become whole and fully restored. And that's what Restoration Speaks does. It helps women in particular to discover where they are, because we might not be all in the same place, but we all have to take a journey to get to restoration. So if you are at the place where you need to be healed, or you already at the place of freedom or the place of wholeness, Restoration Speaks will help you to get to that next place. And if you're already at the place of restoration, just building you up so then you can duplicate yourself by pouring into other women and sharing with them your story and what tools that you will gain from Restoration Speaks. And right now, God is positioning me again to continue on, because as I shared that I went through another trauma. The trauma that I went through was the loss of my son, who was 23 years old and was murdered in October of 2024. So I had to use wisdom to set everything aside in order to go through the healing process and the grieving process. And one of the things that I love about God, and one of the tools that I used to get to a place to where I could sit on this live and talk to you, was I gave all of my pain to God in my time of prayer, because prayer is the primary, one of the primary things that you have to have is prayer. And in my prayer time, I was able to literally give my pain to God, because in his word, he says he's the God of all comfort. So when I gave him my pain, he gave me his comfort. When I gave him my pain, he gave me beauty for ashes. And when I tell you, ladies, that it was one day I woke up to pray, and I was literally looking for the pain, and I could
Mm.
not find it.
Wow.
So I have no heart pain, although I'm still going through the process of grief. I have no pain. So that's the thing that I use, is that tool that I learned from Restoration Speaks, is my prayer life. You gotta
Yes.
have a prayer life, and you have to choose to forgive. I had to choose to forgive, although I don't know who they are, who murdered my son, because I can't carry that weight of unforgiveness. That's like eating poison and waiting for them to die while
Right.
I'm dying on the inside. So those are the tools that some of the tools that Restoration Speaks offers, is teaching you how to have a prayer life, teaching you what real forgiveness is, the biblical way to forgive. That feelings and unforgiveness are two different things. Now, how I feel about them folks it don't have nothing to
Right.
do with me forgiving them. Now, I've forgiven them, but I don't like them.
There you
I
go.
love them because the Bible tells me to love them.
That's
But
right.
those are just two of the things that tools that Restoration Speak teaches, and it teaches you those things in order to be your true authentic self. Because if you're carrying the weight of unforgiveness, if you're carrying the weight of unresolved traumas and tragedies in your life because you have not chosen to do the work,
Hmm.
because the only reason why I am where I am is because I did the work. I
Hmm.
cooperated with the Holy Spirit and the Word of God and did the work.
That's
The
right.
Word will work if you work it, but you got to do the work. And
Hmm.
work means I have to choose. So even though now, today, I am fully restored, there's nothing lacking, nothing missing. But I also have to go back and do the maintenance, just like your
Yes.
car. Your
Yes.
car might be running real smooth today, but you got to get an oil change, and sometimes you got to get a tune-up. So the same thing is with your healing process because we go through life.
Right.
And sometimes I got to go back and get before God. Okay, Lord, show me where it is, what we need to work, where I need to work
Right.
out, where does the oil change need to happen.
That's right.
So those are the things that Restoration Speaks offers. I'm in position now to restart again um, as the Lord leads, but right now I'm in school. I got 2 more classes
Right.
before
There
I
you go.
graduate.
There you go.
So, so it will probably be, probably early September in the fall, because I need some
Yes.
mind
Yeah.
relaxation and restoration after this. But
Yeah.
But my website is still up, restorationspeaks.com, and you can follow Restoration Speaks on Instagram, and you can follow me at Chris Reinhardt on Facebook. But right now, I'm kind of laying low. But as you said, Restoration Speaks is powerful, and many women have been healed, me being one of them, through this process. But I'm excited about what God is doing. Even with going through the tragedy of losing my son, now I can help another woman who has experienced loss and thinks that she can't live beyond somebody's death. And I can say, no, sister, yes, you can. It's called choice, and it's called giving over and
Yeah.
going through the process.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Amen.
Giving over that. That's why I said in that putting my ego on the altar, saying you gotta, because if you don't give it over, you
Yes.
hold it in possession. And so very powerful. I told you, very powerful. So people, watch out. Just watch her like a hawk. Because the minute the fall comes, you need to reach out to her and say,
Yeah, because
uh,
the summertime, I got the vacation. I got a woosah. I
yeah,
gotta go to the beach.
yeah, yes, you sure do. Come on, come on, come
Yes,
on. We ready for you. We ready for you, Tiffany.
Well, look, I will say you were mentioning, Chris, about just releasing that weight, right? And Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, that is what the magazine and the coaching. That's what it's all about. It's all about helping people to release that weight that they're holding on to, whether it be physical weight, whether it be that mental weight and stress that's weighing on you, whether it be spiritual weight, because these are all things that I was broken in. So these are things that I've learned how to get you to the other side, and even some of that financial weight. Now, with the Girl Powerhouse Network, that really just, that really, I'm going to say with that is a free resource for you to tap into, because when you have more than one, he says, when you come together in his name, when there are more than one to coming together, to pray for each other, to just really work through things with each other. That's where you're going to get to the other side. So if you want to tap in, all you have to do is just look up Coach Tiffany Parr. A whole lot of stuff is going to come up. I am all over the place. And if you just need something tailored for you, because everybody is different, And if you need to learn different ways to release this weight that you're holding on to, I definitely have that secret sauce to help you to get to the other side of it. So tap in. Again, look up Tiffany, Coach Tiffany Para. And if you want to look up Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, go to Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Mag 2021.com, and you can subscribe. And also, if you connect with me on Facebook, you gonna get all of the magazines because they're all posted there. So thank you so much, Marisa.
Yes, and in her magazine, she has very, very healthy, and just they look so delicious. Healthy recipes, and so now that I have an oven and all that other good stuff, I can now living in the DR. You can have stove top, I don't know, burners. Well, now I have a full range of.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. But yeah, very good recipes. Just really help you on your journey to getting healthy. Sabine, you're up.
Yeah, and healthy fruit and healthy food we have here also on the island. And yeah, and if you want to look Lunovi Real Estate up, then you find me. You find me also on Instagram at Lunovi Real Estate Punta Cana, and you can connect with me whether it's you're thinking of investing or just curious how you can make it over to the other side of the world and just live a good life under the palm trees. It's not that easy, but it's pretty easy. So I mean, just reach out to me. And with when Tiffany's here, then we are the unstoppables. So
Yes.
reach out. There's a lot to wait for.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So, ladies, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so very proud of all the work that you're doing, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to just honor you in this month's Women's Issues, Women Celebrating Women. And so, thank you so very much for taking time with me today. I know we're going to continue this conversation, keep it going all through the year, just to be a support in a place for women to come and hear authentic conversations. And so thank you so very much. Love you so very much. And you guys take care and be blessed. We'll be back. We'll be back in the morning. We're going to be interviewing others and we're going to be replaying this. So just look out for it as it replays throughout the year. Take care and be blessed. We are out.
Take care.